Hello and welcome back to the channel Pharmacy Online. In today's video, we will explore the fascinating organization of the human body, focusing on its fluid compartments and the essential process of homeostasis. The body is a complex system that is made up of various levels of organization, from cells to organs to entire systems. So we'll dive into how the body is divided into fluid compartments such as intracellular and the extracellular spaces, and examine the importance of maintaining the right balance of fluids. Finally, we'll discuss the concept of homeostasis, the body's ability to regulate the internal conditions to ensure optimal functioning. So let's get started and uncover the intricate mechanisms that keep our body in harmony. We'll start with the homeostasis. So all of the organ system integrate in order to maintain homeostasis of the body. And homeostasis is to maintain the conditions within the body that are compatible with the life of the cells. So you can say homeostasis refers to any automatic process that a living thing uses to keep its body steady on the inside and while continuing to adjust the condition outside of the body or in its environment. So the body makes these changes in order to work the right way and survive. So let's check the basic organization of the body. So human body starts with a single fertilized egg and undergoes division to make multiple copies as well as differentiation. Differentiation means that it will allow specific cells to acquire specialized functions. And then these group of cells have some specialized function that will work together to form tissues. So there are four main types of tissue: nervous tissue, connective tissue, epithelial tissue, and the muscle tissue. So the level of organization of the body. So first of all, the group of cells having some specialized function will form tissue, and then tissues will group together and form organs, and these organs work together to perform a specific function for the body. So more than one organ functioning together will be known as organ system. So now let's check the major organ systems of the body. First of all is the skin. It is the largest organ of the body and it is protective. So it forms a barrier to the outside world and keeps all of the materials inside organized. And it is a hydrophobic barrier, so it allows the body to retain water. Another major system is the cardiovascular system. Its function is to take the nutrients that are entering from the GI tract and delivers it to all the cells. Another thing is it also takes the gases from which are coming in from the lungs, the respiratory system, and delivers it to all of the tissues and organs of the body. Next is the respiratory system that allows the entry of oxygen and the expulsion of carbon dioxide. The gastrointestinal tract that allows food or nutrients to enter into the body and then solid waste to be removed from the body. The urinary system consists of two kidneys and two ureters. So the ureters are taking the urine that is generated from the kidneys down to the bladder where the urine can be stored, and that is eventually expelled outside of the body through the urethra. Now we will come to the fluid compartments of the body. So body fluids can be discussed in terms of the specific fluid compartment, that is a location that is largely separate from another compartment by some form of a physical barrier. So mainly physiologists divide the body into two fluid compartments. So we all know all cells consist of cytoplasm, that is the liquid component within the cell, and that is bounded by the plasma membrane. So we take all of that from all the cells and put it into one fluid compartment, that is the intracellular fluid compartment. And next, that is the outside of the cell, we have this extracellular fluid space, that is the extracellular fluid compartment. So ICF, that is the intracellular fluid compartment, is the largest, and it is composed of the 2/3 of the total body water, whereas ECF is the 1/3 of the total body water. So ICF is inside cells, and so there is high level of potassium inside cells and low levels of sodium. And proteins are also present there that are negatively charged. Whereas ECF, that is outside the cell, there is high level of sodium and low levels of potassium. So let's come to the intracellular fluid compartment. So it comprises about 66%, that is 2/3 of the total body water. And you can say its volume will be approximately 28 liter in a 70 kg individual. And its main contents are potassium, phosphate ions and proteins. And it is important for cellular metabolism and function. What will be its function? It supports the cell structure and function, of course, and facilitates the intracellular reactions and transport of nutrients within the cells. The extracellular fluid compartment. It is the 1/3 of the total body water, which equates to about 14 liter in a 70 kg individual. So there are also subcompartments of ECF that you can say two, that are interstitial fluid and the plasma, that is the intravascular fluid. So what is interstitial fluid? It is the fluid between the cells around the tissues that makes up about 80% of ECF. Whereas the plasma, that is the intravascular fluid, it is the fluid within the blood vessels. Okay, so the fluid within the blood vessels comprises the intravascular fluid, and it makes up about 20% of the ECF. So intravascular and the interstitial fluids have some content of ions and solutes. So you can say there is an equilibrium of equal distribution of these solutes between the two spaces, and this is because the barrier, that is the epithelial cells that are lining the blood vessels, are a bit leaky. So they allow this material to move from one compartment to the other to form an equilibrium. So let's check the fluid movement that occurs between the compartments, their mechanisms. First of all, there is osmosis, that is the movement of water across the membranes from lower to higher solute concentration. Filtration is the movement of fluid out of the capillaries due to the hydrostatic pressure. Diffusion is the movement of solutes from higher to lower concentration across the membranes. The active transport, that is the movement of ions against concentration gradients using energy, that is the pumps, that is sodium or the potassium pumps. Dynamic balance, the body maintains fluid homeostasis by adjusting the movement of water and solutes between compartments. So body fluid compartments, that is the total body water, comprises of the ECF and the ICF. And the ECF is further divided into the plasma and the interstitial fluid. We all know, we have discussed before, the plasma, it is the fluid between the blood vessels, and the interstitial between all other cells and tissues. So there is an equilibrium between the intravascular space and the interstitial space, but we have a disequilibrium between the ECF and the ICF. But that is maintained at a constant or a steady state, and this is done by the presence of an enzyme, which is an ATPase, which cleaves the ATPase. So the enzyme uses the energy to move the sodium out of the cells. We have discussed before that ICF consists of more potassium and ECF consists of more sodium. So the enzyme uses energy to move the sodium out of the cells. So 3 sodium is pumped out of the cells for every 2 K that enters the cell. So steady state, that is input, is equals to output. And the fluid compartments then, or the total body water, is about 60% of your total body weight. So if you have an individual who is a 70 kg male, then 42 liters of that individual is fluid. So is water. So the intracellular fluid space will be equal to 28 liters. And the ECF, which surrounds the cells and is this interface between the cells and the external environment, this will be equal to 14 liters. So the intravascular fluid is actually only 1/12 of the total body water. So we have self-regulating mechanisms then, which are active between these different fluid phases, these different fluid compartments. So there's an equilibrium which is allowing the equal movements of substances to be distributed between the intravascular space and the interstitial space. So sodium, potassium, chloride, calcium, they equally distribute between these two phases and these two compartments. And there is no net transfer of substance or of energy between these two compartments, and there is no barrier to movement. And the epithelial cells that are dividing these two compartments, they are fairly leaky. So there is no energy expenditure to maintain this equilibrium. And in contrast, we have a steady state which is present between our extracellular fluid space and the intracellular fluid space. And here we have a constant amount of substance within the compartments. And the input is going to be equal to the output, but that the concentration within these two compartments can be dissimilar, and that this requires energy to maintain. So we need to use ATP, the energy of the cells, in order to maintain this gradient between the two compartments. So that's all for the video. If you like the video and want to watch more such videos,